Robinson alumni, U.S. Marine, and umpire for communities.
And also, if we could observe another moment of silence for another Las Vegas City School longtime employee, Mr. Bruce Wirtz.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is our roll call. Roll call, please.
Board Member Dennis Romero.
Present.
Board Member Mrs. Elaine Martinez-Gonzalez. Present. Board Secretary Dr. Joyce Meserve.
Present.
Board Vice President Dr. Kimberly Bland.
Present.
Board President Paul Gonzalez.
Present. We have a quorum. Thank you. Next item is our approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda for today's regular board meeting?
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Gonzalez. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Dr. Meserve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is our approval of the minutes for February 19th regular board meeting, March 26th regular board meeting, and March 27th special board meeting. We should approve these as a consent item. So,
Mr. President,
yes, Mr.
were
Number.
the minutes for February 19th ever corrected?
Yes. You were.
Chairman Gonzalez, if I can, for the minutes of the March 26th meeting, I would like to have the minutes reflect that I recused myself during the executive session, and if the minutes could also reflect the time that I came out of executive session. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Number.
they said the minutes for February 19th were corrected?
Yes.
Because I believe at the last meeting, the 26th, we asked that they be corrected between you and Ms. Gonzalez. Was that done?
Yes.
I did send her a copy yesterday because I have not heard from this leadership, but when I reviewed them, some of the initial errors were still in there, so I'm not sure. Did you resend them a copy?
Yes, it's all blank. They're all blank, so once I corrected it, it should have been corrected. Let me double check. Okay, put on the live one instead of the PDF.
Okay. So it was corrections were updated? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So since we have a few, we'll just go ahead and separate them. So let's go ahead and do a motion to approve the February 19th regular board meeting minutes with the corrections.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Romero. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Bleda. Motion passes to approve February 19th minutes.
We need a vote. Sorry.
I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
I'd
Romero.
like to make a motion that we table the minutes for March 26th until we get the corrections that Ms. Blair asked for.
Okay. So a motion by Mr. Romero to table the March 26 minutes until the amendments are made. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
And a second by Dr. Bleda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes to table. Next is the March 27th special board meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the March 27th special board meeting minutes?
I'll move to approve the minutes from the March 27th special board meeting.
I have a motion by Dr. Bleda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Ms. Gonzalez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is public input. No, we have no public input tonight. Next item is our finance report. Yeah.
I was not present at the finance committee meeting, so I'd ask President Gonzalez if he would present.
Thank you. The Finance Committee met on Wednesday, April 15th. The March 2026 financial reports for the general and student activity accounts were reviewed as follows. Operating and activity bank reports, activity payable check listings, revenue and expenditure reports, purchase orders issued, payroll journal reports, fund balance report, touch collateral report, and GoFan activity. The bars for approval were as follows. Final adjustment to SEG, bar 0690038, an increase of $192,273. FY25 cash position bars, so I got 0690022 for $20,210.02. 0027 for $116,400.09. 0028 for $62,021. 0026 for $47,587.28. 0023 for $45,647.02. 0029 for 19 cents. And 0032 for $29,518. We had no donations over $5,000. We also reviewed the FY27 draft budget. The recommendation by the committee is to approve the financial reports and budget adjustment request for March 2026. Madam Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairperson of the board, I recommend approval of the consent agenda items, bars, payables, and revenue expenditure report as presented.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Romero.
Madam Superintendent, do we have a breakdown of the other, what the other is on the finance report?
On the finance report,
Yeah, on that, the one that we got emailed to us?
let me pull that up. Ms. Gonzalez, maybe you know before I can.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
It's under the.
On the vote back?
Yeah.
So the other, on the top, the other is the concession stand? Is that the purple square?
Yeah, so if it's concession, how do you say, why does it ticket sold?
That's the way we, because it's all set up through GoFan, that's the way it's set up with, as a ticket, but it's tickets, those are items. So that's why there's a guide there that says concession stand.
So just for clarification, where it says tickets sold or items sold, and ticket sales is the amount that we generated from those items.
That's specifically for,
Not
yes,
ticket
others
sold.
specifically concession stand, and then the other bullets that have the sports are ticket sales for those sports. And that's the way it is on the platform.
So does it break it down as like an itemized list of what is sold in the concession?
Yes, per game, yes.
Any other questions on our finance report?
For next month, I'd like to know if we can get itemized list for all attendees for the games and the concession that we've had throughout the year.
Please clarify that, Mr. Romero, what do you mean?
I think on GoFan, you can actually see what people have actually paid for the games and what items they may have purchased in the concession.
I can look into that. I'm not sure you can do it by person, but you can definitely see gate sales and the ticket sales would be $7 or however much the ticket was. And then the concession stand, yeah, it'll tell you how many nachos, how many.
If we can see that itemized, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes, Dr. Missouri.
we're supposed to be here for the students and for the betterment of the students. So can you explain to me, or can Mr. Romero explain to me how this breakdown or looking at these itemized things of seeing what number of people are coming into the games is for the betterment of the students.
We just like
How
to
is
see
that?
where our money is going, because we're
How
supposed to
is
be
that
fiscally responsible. I want to see
the
where
student
I want to see where our money is going. It's not just about the student outcome, yes, that's important, but we have to be fiscally responsible, and I want to make sure we know where that money is going to, how it's coming and where it's going to, where it's coming from.
And 5 years ago, how were you able to account for that as well?
We weren't, but now that we can have an itemized list, I'd like to see one.
And for clarification, you
5 years
want,
ago, we just saw the gate, that's all we saw. We
and
just saw the total of concession stand.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Romero, if I understand you correctly, you want by person, like who has purchased
However
tickets?
they can itemize it to break it down. I don't know, like you said, you don't know if it was by person or if you can see.
I don't believe we
per
can see it,
ticket.
I don't think that we can see it by person, but if you're wanting the totals for the tickets and the total for the concession stand, that is exactly the information provided on that report
Okay, that's
that we
already,
gave
that's
to you
already,
guys.
that-
That's on
that's
the
the way it
report.
is already, okay.
That's on the report.
I believe GoFam breaks everything down, so if you're purchasing with a credit card, then your email address will pop up as far as purchasing tickets, so I believe there is an itemized list as attendees or people that are purchasing tickets and that kind of thing. So I believe that the program does provide that.
Again, I think, Mr. Chair, if, I guess for the purpose, as Dr. Meserve has mentioned, what does it matter if Joe from, I don't know, from WOTA has come to any game 10 times? I mean, what is the relevance? What is it that you guys are needing besides overall revenue coming into the district?
I just want to see that the money we're reporting as gate is actually gate and not other items thrown into there, like fundraisers for athletics.
It can't go to anywhere else because it's on the GoFundMe. That's the way the program is set up.
Yeah.
I believe that if Mr. Romero is asking for something, I mean, we have every right to ask for things. If we're not able to attend the budget meetings or committee meetings, I think that we are within our rights to ask for things regarding budget or anything because we need the information.
But again, how is that improving student outcomes and how is that just not wasting time?
Well, hopefully it's improving the district.
So perhaps there might be the ability to see like the events, number of sales per event, I think is a good compromise for what Mr. Romero is requesting. I myself personally do not feel comfortable receiving a list of contact information for all attendees at games, but I do think perhaps by games itself, we can see a breakdown of ticket sales. I know it's already broken down by sports, but perhaps that's a compromise that will accomplish what Mr. Romero is requesting. And also protects personal information of members of the public attending these games.
And just to add, maybe, I know you asked about fundraisers, Mr. Romero, so maybe we can get a list of when an activity is doing a fundraiser, perhaps that could be included just so we know if he's worried or not worried or concerned about fundraising monies. It would be good to see when the fundraiser is. Of course, it's reflected in our student activity accounts and balances, but maybe just kind of an update on some fundraisers might be helpful.
Yes.
Is that it, Mr. Romero?
Thank you.
So based on superintendent's recommendation, do I have a motion to approve consent items A, B, and C?
I'll make a motion to approve consent items A, B, and C.
I have a motion by Dr. Blea. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Dr. Meserve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
No.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next item on our agenda tonight is a presentation, post-presentation by Ms. Antonia Kiefer.
I've never done this before, so
I step up to it.
it's been a while since I've been in front of a group. But it's very nice to be here and see a lot of familiar faces, former students, colleagues. I'll use my teacher's voice. Anyway, it's nice to see all familiar faces here. So, and I'm Antonia Kiefer. I'm a retired Las Vegas City Schools educator and a member of the Las Vegas chapter of the New Mexico Association of Educational Retirees. That's a mouthful, I know. Whose sole purpose is to promote the quality of life for all retired educational staff. Everyone from administrators to educators, secretaries, all supportive personnel. And we invite all educational retirees to join the association when that time happens for you. Tonight I'm here to posthumously present Robertson High School with 2 books by noted author Carmen Baca, who is a local author and a retired teacher, and by Jim Sego, who was also a very noted Northern New Mexico author. These books are in honor of 2 dedicated educators who were in Las Vegas City Schools. First one was Emma Estrada, who used her bilingual abilities in many educational endeavors, and not just at Las Vegas City Schools, but she went on to Highlands to promote a lot of the bilingual programs, translations, etc. And then the other one is Louise Derlick. Although both have passed, it's been a while, they just now decided to posthumously present these, but anyway, I'm just a messenger. Anyway, and the second one is Louise Derlick, who was my 7th grade choir teacher, and a very, very prominent educator who continued to serve the Las Vegas community beyond her retirement. In 1994, she was inducted into the Music Educators Association Hall of Fame. And so those are 2 books. And then I'd like to make a small donation. It's a small one, but since I had colleagues who were in band and choir and anonymous Derlick to just make a small donation, but I'm not sure how I do this. But anyway, so these are for Robertson High School and a small donation for the band and the choir, the music department. So to whom do I give this? Okay. But thank you for letting us be here.
Thank you for being here, and again, thank you for all your years of dedication to Las Vegas City Schools. I personally was greatly affected by you as a teacher, so thank you for all that you did for not just myself, but all the students at Las Vegas City Schools.
Nice to see colleagues and students here, former students.
Nice to see you, Ms. Keeper. Nice to see you.
Thank you, President. Mr. Romano.
Thank you, Ms. Kiefer, for that presentation, and Ms. Derlick was also my junior high special music teacher.
Yes. Honor and as well. Thank you.
Thanks again, Ms. Kiefer. Next item on our agenda is our new business. Item A, senior trip, out-of-state travel request. Do we have Miss Jenna Martinez here?
Good afternoon, board members and everyone. I'm Mike G from Salt Office. Coming here today to ask you for permission for the seniors to go out on a trip for their senior trip. We've done lots of fundraising throughout junior year and senior year. We're also asking for help with any costs associated with the bus driver, and fuel to get there.
Sorry, she's a little frazzled. She ran from the game over here.
Our game is still going right now. Sorry.
Do we have any questions as far as senior trip?
Where are you going?
Colorado Springs.
Colorado
We're going to
Springs to
Colorado
Great Wolf
Springs.
Lodge, right?
Yeah.
So first we have to entertain a motion to approve out-of-state travel. Do I have a motion to approve out-of-state travel for
So
senior
moved.
trip? We have a motion by Mr. Romero. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Dr. Vega. So motion to approve out-of-state travel passes. Oh, sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. And now for,
Mr. President,
yes, Mr.
I'd
Romano.
like to make a motion that we supply a bus driver, and our usual $100 per student up to 10 for the seniors to go on their senior trip.
I believe they fundraised for meals, correct? You guys have
Yes.
For meals are covered?
Yes.
You guys have
Yes.
bus. So you're just requesting the bus and driver and fuel?
Yes, yes.
So based on that, I'll make a motion that we just approve the bus driver, and the fuel. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Romero. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Have fun. And thank you for making it here. I know you had to also.
Be careful. And we have one more thing.
Yes, Ms. Mia.
Okay, I just handed out what our itinerary is for senior week. It's tentative, because you know, things always change. But we're asking that for the barbecue, that you guys be present for the barbecue that we're having on the 21st. And between the board and Mr. Trujillo about paying for the barbecue. If you can provide that. It will be in conjunction with we used to call it annual signing. Most of you remember it as an annual signing party. Okay? And that's when the barbecue is going to be, if you want to mingle with the kids while they sign their diplomas. But the biggest thing the senior class would like to ask is if the board is willing to help call the names of the kids during graduation.
I'm sorry, say that again?
If you would also say the names of the kids as they graduate, usually it's just the counselors that announce the names. We would like for you guys to participate and announce the names also. We would split up
About 10 each?
about 10 each.
That's something you can do. Now, as far as the providing funding for the barbecue, because it's not on our agenda, that's something we can't vote on. But I'm sure we could possibly request some donations and help in other ways, you know.
Is that right?
And we can also work with food service.
Okay,
Personally.
well, yeah. Okay, I don't know, I don't remember how it was done last year, sorry guys. But usually we just have a barbecue and you guys all come, and we're just formally inviting you to come to the barbecue. And we usually work out the food and stuff. Usually we go through the food services if that's okay about the barbecue.
Where's the barbecue at? As long as that's coordinated with Miss Senna, that's fine.
Okay.
Where's
So
the barbecue at?
it'll be about the A+ grill, right? Yeah, A+ grill.
Well, thank you for the invitation, and thank you for inviting us to take part in the graduation as well, so.
Okay, and then we also put the times for the graduation rehearsal, so if you want to, we would like for you to come at least for Thursday so you can see how the pace and make sure you announce the kids' names. Kids are so picky about how you say their names. Just doing in past graduations, they'll tell you that's not how you say my name. You know. So if you won't mind going to graduation rehearsal?
For those of us who make it, we'll update the other board members, but I'll do my best to be there for sure.
And we'll get you the names as soon as possible so that you know who's calling what. Okay?
As someone who reads names for students at commencement at Highlands, I understand firsthand the significance of ensuring our students' names are read correctly, so
Yeah.
I got you. Got
Yeah.
that.
So, and if by any chance there is a particular student that you're familiar with and would like to announce their names, you can let us know, because we have a counselor that her son is graduating and she wants to call his name, which is understandable. So if you go through the list and you see somebody you really want to say their name, just let us know and we can work around that.
Sounds good.
Okay?
All right, so again, thank you again. Thanks for hustling over here from softball to present.
Thank you, guys.
this initiative. You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda, new business, is item B, basketball travel request, June 5th through 7th, Mr. Adam Bustos.
Hello, good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. We're requesting approval for out-of-state travel to attend a basketball jamboree in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a Central Bobcats jamboree. We're actually I itemized in the memo the cost of the trip. After approval, we actually plan on just splitting up the cost between each athlete and coach that's going to be attending. So that's how we're going to plan to pay for it. Any athlete or coach that isn't able to pay for it, we'll go ahead and submit a fundraiser and submit a donation form, see if we can get sponsors to cover those costs. So my request is for approval for out-of-state travel to attend a basketball jamboree in Phoenix.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Romano.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve out-of-state travel for the men's basketball team for June 5th through the 7th.
A motion by Mr. Romano, do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second by Dr. Bea. I just have a question. So you said it's going to be 100% funded by fundraising, and as far as travel and getting your students to Phoenix, how are you planning on getting your students to Phoenix?
Mr. President, correct. So I spoke with Ida Sue earlier this week and, kind of just went over the logistics of it. We determined that with the amount of athletes, amount of coaches, that we're going to go ahead and utilize the Suburbans out there. So, there's some other logistics. We got to make sure we're, certified and approved to drive the Suburbans, but the plan is to take the 2 Suburbans out to Phoenix. Tentatively it would be 3 coaches, hopefully 4. It would kind of rotate with the drive out there, but it would be utilizing Suburbans.
Mr. Gonzalez? Coach Bustos, will you need help with fuel then? And as far as fuel? And the drivers will be coaches, so then will you need help as far as fuel?
I factor that into the amount per student and coach. So the 330 is going to factor in all the costs associated with it. So, I honestly I wasn't aware that you can request additional funds for assistance. So we always kind of just we pick an event, we pick somewhere to go, and then we figure out how much money we need and we pay for it that way. So the request is for out-of-state travel, but I'm open to any assistance that can be provided. If not, we'll be paying for it ourselves.
Superintendent, do we have any concern about suburban use for basketball team? Is that something that we approve?
No, I am in agreement with the Suburbans, although I do have some concern with regards to additional costs, fuel costs and so on, with regards to budget and how that's working out. So I think that will be a conversation that we need to have in the near future. But again, I think it's perfectly fine and it's more cost effective, to be honest with you, with the Suburbans to be utilized.
Well, thank you for fundraising. Again, obviously now summer activities, we're still having to clarify and put policy in place for how much we can help, but we're more than thankful to Ms. Sandoval to align the Suburbans so you can take your students. So I have a motion and a second to approve out-of-state travel. All in favor? Oh, excuse me, 1 second. Ms. Gonzalez.
Can I add in there that if there is money for fuel, that we would pay for the fuel for them? As far as his...
Well, we have to approve the Suburbans also. And the request was just for out-of-state travel, so I'm not sure if we can throw that in. We can't.
It's not part of the initial
request. So if you want the Suburbans, you'll have to come back and request the Suburbans. Sorry, yeah. And then how long is it going to take you guys to get certified to drive?
Mr. President, Member Romero, I don't know. So I'll check with Ida Sue, work out the logistics, figure out the training, everything. I think I saw the next board meeting was
May 21st.
21st. And hopefully I can come back and request approval for the Suburbans at that point. So.
Yes, Mr. Gonzalez.
So maybe I failed the coach. The initial information that he sent me was to request the Suburban, and the training is an 8-hour course that IDSU would put on with any drivers that are willing to take that course. So it's just a 1-day training, and she's willing to do it on the weekends or whenever, or on an in-service day, or sometime during the summer, so it doesn't interfere with educational time. So the original request from Mr. Bustos was for the Suburban actually.
Mr. President. Go. And Madam Secretary, it is on the proposal our notes.
It is on his proposal. Which
In-
Travel as a suburban?
it has cost of 2 Suburbans, estimated cost 600.
Okay,
So if it's on there, I think we can go ahead and vote on that then, yeah.
that's absolutely, yeah.
My only, then, but if we have a motion,
So we have a
let's
motion,
decide
second,
if it dies, and then we'll do a re-motion, yes.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve out-of-state travel.
Yes, we can do that, yeah.
So we can do
All
that.
those in favor?
All in favor of approving out-of-state travel, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Mr. President, motion passes to approve out-of-state travel. Yes, Mr. Romero?
I'd like to make a motion now that we approve the use of 2 Suburbans and the fuel for the out-of-state travel for the men's basketball team, June 5th to the 7th.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Romero. Do we have a second to approve use of Suburban?
Can I clarify my motion? On the condition that you guys get trained prior to that. Yes.
I have a motion by Mr. Romero. Is there a second?
A second.
We have a second by Ms. Gonzalez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Good luck.
Mr. President, members of the board, thank you very much. Boys are, we talked about this last year, didn't quite get it together. They really wanted to go this year. They're going to be ecstatic to be out there. So thank you.
Before you step away, I just want to say congratulations on a great season. You know, it was a lot of fun to watch you. You know, you fell a little short compared to St. Mike's, but it was a heck of a game. You guys fought extremely hard, and just congratulations on all your accomplishments this season, because it was a lot of fun. You guys did very well, so congratulations on it. Not quite finished what you wanted, but still a successful season.
Yeah, Mr. President, members of the board, thank you very much. And again, it goes to the kids. They're, easy for me. It's good kids. So, thank you.
Next item on our agenda, on the new business, is item C, basketball travel request by Mr. Jose Rodriguez.
Mr. President, Coach Medina,
Yes.
you've been here a while, so I'm expecting any mistakes.
All right, here we
Hopefully you got this request correct the first time.
go. Good afternoon, Anderson Buchanan, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Thank you for having us. I'm here requesting out-of-state travel to Lubbock, Texas for the Texas Tech University Women's Basketball Summer Team Camp and any financial assistance if there's any possible way. I know we're double booked, boys and girls, the same weekend for these camps. So we as a Lady Cardinal basketball program, we fundraise to cover our needs for our trips and stuff like that. We have money in our account from the past, and we have a pretty good chunk in there. And then we will do a fundraiser to help cover the rest of our needs for our summer trip to Texas Tech and our trip to Volcano Vista and our trip to Santa Fe Indian and to Sandia High. Those are the 4 team camps that we will be attending this summer. I like taking all our girls. We'll take about 25 girls. And I believe that if they fundraise, they get to go. You know what I mean? We've proven in our program that playing against all these bigger schools and better competition that we play against, it benefits our girls. Our C team is always, in the last 8 years that I've coached here, in the top 1 or 2 in district. Our JV girls have won district 6 out of 8 years. And our varsity, we're 20 plus wins every year. We're in the top 4 in the state tournament. We've won 2 state tournaments, you know what I mean? So I think that all the time that we put in the summer and in the off season really helps develop our girls for season. We take girls from 7th grade through seniors. And we take a varsity team, a JV team, and a C team, which is our middle school girls, and we get them 6 to 8 games every tournament we go. So, plus it gives them an experience of knowing what the college life is all about, living on campus, this and that. being with their friends, experiencing things, staying at motels, going to swimming pools, this and that. They all have a good time enjoying it and stuff, so I think it has really paid off for our program, and I would like to continue to see that for our program. So I'm here requesting out-of-state travel for our female Lady Cardinal basketball team to Texas Tech University.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Romero.
Coach Medina, will you be taking a bus with that many girls?
I was just talking with Mr. Gonzalez, and I know that the boys took all the Suburban, so he said he was gonna purchase 3 new ones for us. So yeah, we'll be taking a bus, and we'll cover the cost of the bus through fundraising.
The fuel or the bus driver?
I'm gonna talk to Ida Sue and see. We did a rough estimate of bus and fuel, and it'll come out to about $2,500 for the trip. So, and then I did an estimate of our stay there. Entry fees will be about $2,500 for all 3 teams. Meals, about $1,950, and then motel comes out to about $3,500. So that's about $8,000 right there, and then you throw the $2,500 on top of that. So it'll be about 10 grand for this trip. Yeah. And I believe on the last check-in of our account, we have $10,000 in our account, and then we'll do a fundraiser, and we'll raise about another 6 or 7 grand on that.
Mr. President, Coach Medina's proposal also includes transportation and fuel, just like Mr. Bustos did. So with that proposal, with that being in the proposal, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we approve out-of-state travel first.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Romero and a second by Dr. Maleo to approve out-of-state travel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
Mr. President,
Motion passes.
Mr. President,
Yes,
I'd
Mr.
like to make a motion that we supply the bus, driver, and some fuel.
I have a motion by Mr. Romero. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Ms. Gonzalez. I have a question, Ms. Sandoval. Okay, in the budget, as far as I know, Mr. Medina says they fundraise for most of the fuel and the cost of the bus. Do we have any concerns as far as?
Again, I think, I do thank the coaches and the families and the players for all the fundraising, because there's a lot of activity that occurs. This is an area that I believe the board again is going to have to consider down the road. However, I would recommend perhaps matching what is being offered to the boys with regards to, if it's $500 for fuel or whatever, that it be similar to both programs. So, and that can be done perhaps afterwards with Ms. Ida Sue. So I'm okay to approve.
So with that recommendation, Mr. Romero's motion, we have a second. All in favor to approve the bus, the driver, and the fuel? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Any other discussion?
President Gonzalez, if I can make the recommendation that the board develop a policy around the amount of resources that we are providing to the teams, to the clubs, just so that way we are fair and consistent and there's equity in what we're offering, but also to ensure that we're being responsible with the funds we have available so we can distribute that amongst all the different groups requesting that.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So we have a motion and a second, and then just to vote. All in favor, do you say aye?
Aye.
Motion passes. Good luck this summer, Coach. Thanks for all that you do for our students as well.
Thank you.
Good luck. Have fun.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Coach. Next item on our agenda, new business, is item D, 2627 bilingual application. Ms. Garcia.
Good evening, President Gonzalez, members of the board. I believe in your packet you received the bilingual application. It is the standard application that is filled out every year. It is for our K-12 students who are identified as English language learners. Just need your approval on it.
Mr. President,
And for clarification, Spanish language as well, the bilingual as well.
Bilingual, yeah. My apologies.
Madam Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I recommend approval of the bilingual application assurances as presented.
Upon that recommendation, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the bilingual application.
I have a motion by Mr. Romero, and a second by Dr. Blea. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes to approve the bilingual application. Thank you. Ms. Garcia. Thank you. Next item on our agenda, under new business is item B, 2627, idea B, application Ms. Martinez.
Good evening, Superintendent Sandoval, Chairman, members of the board. Practice this whole day here. So, go easy. Forgot. So, I'm here to advise you of the idea B budget for the 26-27 school year. And that under item 24106, and that is our general fund, we were awarded $338,621. Under 24109, we were awarded $8,586, and that's towards preschool. It has been substantially approved. So I'm also required to read you the assurances, which is our promise that we agree to stay compliant under federal regulations, federal and state regulations. So, you guys okay if I read that now? Okay. A local education agency, LEA, is eligible for assistance under Part B of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, for a fiscal year if the LEA submits a plan that provides assurances to the state education agency that the LEA meets each of the conditions in 34 CFR 300.201 through 300.213, including that it has in effect policies and procedures that are consistent with the state's policies and procedures established under 300.101 through 300.163 and 300.165 through 300.174. Authority 20 U.S.C. 1413A, 34 CFR 300.200, the Las Vegas City Schools assures that it has conducted its annual review of board policies and procedures governing special education. The district assures that it has in effect policies and procedures that are consistent with the state's policies and procedures established under 300.101 through 300.163 and 300.165 through 300.174. The district further assures that throughout the period of the grant award, the district will comply.
Thank you.
Madam Superintendent, what would be your recommendation?
Mr. Chair. Sorry, Mr. Chair, members of the board, I recommend approval of the IDEA B application as presented to you this evening.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Romero.
upon that recommendation, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the IDEA B application.
I have a motion by Mr. Romero to approve the application for idea B. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Dr. Blea. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda, new business, is item F, Holcomb Law Professional Services. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I am presenting to you the professional services contract for Holcomb Law to begin in July. We are currently contracted with them through that time, but I do use Holcomb Law to support specifically on labor law and support with HR and so on. So she has, Ms. Holcomb has supported us in revising all of our district contracts to become compliant verifying and correcting some of the HR procedures and where we've been audit compliance and so on. So this is just kind of advancing and being more proactive on making sure that it's not for its termination. So with that, I recommend your approval for the professional services contract.
Can I
Mr.
ask-
President? Oh, go ahead.
Start there.
If I can ask a question of clarification, does Ms. Holcomb assist the district in serving as a negotiator during collective bargaining, or is she just only providing the support for compliance?
She provides support for compliance. We do have another contractor that supports for negotiations, which is actually part of her family.
Thank you for that clarification. And then if I can follow up with an additional question, do we have an estimated budget amount that you anticipate or that you're planning for, or just as needed?
It's as needed, so it's minimal.
Thank you.
Mr. President? So, Madam Superintendent, so is this on top of Ortiz and Zamora law firm?
Yes, sir.
And on top of the other lawyers that we use for the bonding?
Yes, so the bonding is immersed with Ortiz and Zamora.
My only question is, before we hired Ortiz and Zamora, we had Cuddy McCarthy. Everything is under one roof there. We don't pay extra. Plus, we were paying cheaper per the hour for Cuddy McCarthy than we are for Ortiz and Zamora. And it seems like every time we turn around and we need something else, we've got to go out and get another lawyer, another law firm to come in, rather than just be with one unit and everything's under one roof. It just, it doesn't seem like we're being fiscally responsible by hiring here and there and everywhere.
I cannot say what you, or what the district paid with Cuddy and McCarthy beforehand, but attorneys specialize in certain things. Again, I have utilized and worked with Ms. Holcomb in the past, and I'm very comfortable with the service that she provides. I don't see it as being additional, because whatever would be required with the work that we do with her or asked of her potentially would go to Ortiz and Zamora anyway. So and the prices are very comparable, but the service that she provides with this work, I feel is necessary, at least to support my department.
If I can add, from my perspective, in my experience, sometimes it's helpful to have legal counsel that specializes in certain areas, and it's not uncommon to have a labor relations attorney as well as having like a general counsel that helps provide guidance on other areas. So with that recommendation from Ms. Sandoval, I would make a motion to approve the contract for Holcomb Law Professional Services.
Mr. President, and that's what Cuddy McCarthy has, they have specialized lawyers under the roof.
Briefly, we have a motion by Dr. Blea. Do we have a second to approve the Holcomb Law Professional Services? I'll second by Dr. Meserve. And now, Mr. Romero, any discussion?
Just I'll let you know that Cuddy McCarthy do have those professionals under the roof, under their law firm. Yeah.
So just moving forward, as a reminder, again, under Robert's rules, we're supposed to motion second and then discuss. I think we're kind of discussing out of order sometimes, so I'll ask that we just kind of familiarize ourselves with that process so that we do follow proper order. So we have a motion and I have a second. All in favor to approve the Holcomb Law Professional Service, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
No.
Majority passes, motion passes. Thank you, Madam Superintendent. Next item on our agenda is new business item G, policy J7350, graduation policy. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members, we are bringing this policy directly to you today specifically for discussion. As you may be aware, there was a revision to the graduation policy through legislation last school year. The districts are to identify 2 courses for credit that are identified as district chosen for the needs of the community. Over the course of the last year and a half or so, we have worked, Mr. Trujillo and his team, we have worked with Future Focused Education to work on the graduate profile, to begin to align that work, and identifying what courses the team would bring to the board as a recommendation for the district identified courses for graduation. Right now, the district has a requirement of 2 courses above the state's recommended 24 graduation credits. Our district is requiring 26. For next school year, we are looking at converting our district matrix to a block schedule with 8 periods or 8 months. That being said, over the course of 4 years, there would be 32 credits that would be a possibility for course generation. So with that, what we want to do is bring some discussion to you with regards to recommendation of which courses the team is recommending for a district course approval. That will then be communicated to PED. And again, that is in alignment with VOLAR, which is our graduate profile. And then one of the things to consider again with this is that once in policy, these courses are to be offered over the course of the career, the high school career of the student. So they would be acquiring these 2 credits for graduation. So again, keep that in mind. Mr. Whalen will present the information to you and talk a little bit about the work that they have been doing.
Thank you so much. So I'm Daniel Whalen, the assistant principal at Robertson High School, and Ms. Sandoval just spoke a little bit about the graduate profile, and that's where my presentation begins. I'll just say slide for the next slide, if that's okay with you. All right, so for the next slide, we're going to take a look at the graduate profile. What do we come up with? So civic engagement and responsibility, valuing community, VOLAR. These 3 I CAN statements that you see under every value are the kinds of measurable behaviors that we want our students to exhibit. Slide. LAR, learning, academic, and applied, and aspiration, goal setting, and future planning. Important competencies for adulting, for sure. Slide. And relationships, teamwork, sticking together, resilience. That's what the community is all about. So, students that exhibit these qualities are now who we're looking to celebrate and uplift with our Cardinal Scholars graduation recognition. Slide. Instead of a Val and Sal, in the school district we do a top 10, and we do it through an application process instead of just raw data and ordering like that. Slide. All right, so on our school website, you will see the graduate profile and Cardinal Scholars mentioned. Below here, you can see the breakdown for what students need to submit for that recognition in their senior year. They're gonna give us their SAT scores, we're gonna examine their schedule, and they're going to assemble a portfolio of evidence that matches what is in the graduate profile. And then they have to write an argumentative essay to explain how their evidence qualifies them as one of those shining examples of a Robertson graduate. Slide. Slide. All right, so our graduation requirements. How can we get instruction that's going to support this kind of character and goal-setting development? Well, the first class we should consider is Advanced Placement Seminar. Slide. Why AP Seminar? Slide. All right, first of all, the board's goals to promote academic excellence. Having an AP class that everybody has to take is a way of saying that this is important. Second board goal, AP Seminar will help this because the AP Seminar class, as you'll see momentarily, is not what you might traditionally think in an AP class, because the students choose a topic to research, they do their own individual research project, and then they do a group presentation, which is video recorded and submitted to College Board. So those are the first two portfolio pieces. And then the actual timed test that they would take, sort of during that traditional AP testing window, it's only 45% of the overall grade. So really, it's different from other AP classes because more than 50% is based on what students do before that testing window at the end of the year. Slide. All right. So we want our students to question and explore. That is one of the 5 focuses of the AP seminar class. Slide. And that connects with our academic and applied learning, our civic engagement and responsibility, and our goal setting and future planning. Slide. Understanding, analyzing, and evaluating multiple perspectives is an aspect of the AP seminar portfolio submissions and research. Slide. That fits in well with our relationship building and students taking personal accountability and having agency in their learning. Slide. Synthesizing ideas, putting it all together, building an argument. That is what the final products are. Slide. Which fits in with our academic learning and our civic engagement and responsibility. Slide. All right, so working as a team, transmitting the information and transforming the learning into an amazing learning product. Slide. That fits in with social emotional learning, personal accountability, and goal setting. Slide. Now, last year we had AP seminar. This year we didn't offer it because the staff member who was trained to do it and taught the class last year went to retirement. But if you take a look at our data, 20% of our students got a 3, 4, or 5. And in this particular instance, this year, most of the students who did it took AP seminar. And that's when it had been offered for the first time. So I think that based on that initial success, this is one of those classes that will be really accessible for all students. Slide. And you can see the trend over a few years here. We had a significant jump, 19 to 19.64 versus 7 in the previous year, a percentage of students getting a 3, 4, or 5. So I think that might be one that we have some success with. Slide. All right, and even the mean score was the highest amongst our students. So we had 8 2s and 6 3s that year. So with training and support, I think that all those numbers would slide up and we'd have more AP scores there. Slide. Now, maybe 1 year is not enough. Maybe they need some more time. So a values clarification course would be the prerequisite for AP seminar. Students would take this class, Slide, and begin to explore the graduate profile, understand what the values are, how we measure them, begin to assemble their portfolios, and do some of the research that they would need to do for AP seminar the year before. Slide. All right, so the goals for AP seminar would be scaffolded down into this values clarification class. We would use the same instructional techniques, the same materials for measurement, and that would help students to be more successful in their second year when they take AP seminar. Slide. Slide. All right, so the master discussion techniques and implementing these strategies. Another aspect of AP seminar is one of those classes that's interdisciplinary, so you don't have to be certified in one area. So that means all of our teachers could really teach this. And the more they get the College Board training and have those competencies after having taught it once, that'll diffuse into their other classes in the way they instruct, and it'll bring rigor up across the board. So that is why we propose the adoption of AP seminar and the values clarification class.
Excellent job, Mr. Wheeler. So again, Mr. Chairman, this is just a discussion point. If you guys are of course, the expert is with you in the event that you have any questions. But if you are in agreement with this at the end of this conversation, what we will do, or what I will do, is I will go and amend the policy, include the language to include these 2 courses as part of the requirement for graduation within the policy listed. I'm sorry, I don't have it.
J78350.
Yes, so I will amend that for next board meeting, and then that would become the first reading. So again, today is just discussion if you have any questions.
If I may, Madam Superintendent, President Gonzalez, Mr. Whalen, Mr. Trujillo, this is very exciting for me. When you explain the content and the way that it's structured, okay. When you explain the structure of the program and the way in which it brings practicality to learning, I think it has a tremendous opportunity to have an impact on our students. Being in higher education, when I see things like this, I get excited because I'm unfortunately or fortunately on the receiving end, and sometimes when students come to us, this is the first time they're thinking about things in this way. So by doing it more proactively in our high school, I think that it has tremendous benefit for students post-graduation efforts, whatever they decided to do. I also just want to make mention that I appreciate that it also ties to what our draft strategic plan is. I see that direct connection as well. And then the other point about the training that the teachers will receive, I do appreciate and also understand that it will impact the students that they're teaching in other classes. So thank you for your work in organizing this and putting this forward. I know it's not an action item right now, but I fully support this. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Mr. President, Madam Superintendent, do we have the staff, or is there enough staff to get, or that want to be trained and can teach AP classes?
As Mr. Whalen mentioned, we will need to get some teachers to get through the AP training. But these courses actually are open to all licenses and endorsements, so it can be one of many that can be.
If they choose.
Yes, sir.
And then on the Cardinal Scholar, who is going to be reviewing all the criteria?
Model selection committee.
The applications are being compiled and we'll be reviewing with the selection committee. Last year, I participated as the SEA with Dr. Reddy and, Ms. Aragon. So it would be 3 people probably like that.
The portfolio that we've developed is amazing. It's it's extensive, but it just a really good piece of work. So if any of you all are interested in sitting in on the committee, I'm happy to have you.
Any other questions from the board?
Take your time now.
That's very good, yeah.
Again, thank you both for all your hard work. Obviously, we're trying to raise the bar across the board, from board to superintendent to principals to students. So this certainly is a huge step in that direction of creating that expectation that we want to be one of the best school districts in the state, and this is a huge step. So thank you for what you guys are doing.
That's a great presentation, thank you.
All right. No other questions, comments? Then again, thank you guys. So stay there. Next item on our agenda is new business. Item H, policy J1850, closed campus policy. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, I pulled this specific policy out as well, just because I have tasked our administrators to begin revising their student handbooks for this up and coming school year. Over the course of last year and this year, there was discussion and concern brought by Mr. Romero regarding the closed campus, and the students were leaving, for lunch and so on. And the reason I brought this to review is that the policy as it's written initially is a bit confusing. It does indicate that all campuses are closed is the opening statement, and that students in the elementary and middle school closed campuses are permitted to leave during the school day only under the following conditions. But as we move down to Robertson High School, it says that it operates as a closed campus, and I'm going to move down a little bit where it says that students are permitted to leave campus during the school day, specifically for lunch. And let me find it. Failing to follow procedures shall result in the student being considered truant and their absences counted as unexcused. Campus is open for lunch for sophomores, juniors, and seniors from 11:35 to 12:15. Lunch for freshmen, again, time frame there. So a couple of things with this particular policy. Like we discussed at the last board meeting, specificity like this is difficult because, you know, lunch times change and so on. So one, I would recommend that we modify this policy to make it more general, but then also to ask you, the board, is if our campus is truly closed for all kids across the board, and does that policy need to change, or do we continue, or Mr. Trujillo and his team continue to follow the policy as is listed, where it's open for sophomores, juniors, and seniors? So I just need a point of clarification, and then of course our administrators are here to respond to any questions or perhaps concerns that you may have.
Madam Superintendent, that was the idea when we first put in the fence, besides just keeping the kids safe, was that it was a closed campus for freshmen and the middle school. We didn't want them wandering off. We were having a hard time getting kids back after lunch, and that's where the most truancies and absences were. So we decided to make it closed, with the exceptions of the dual learning that happens in Laguna. The kids had to show that they were going to be leaving campus. But I think it's fallen by the wayside just because we don't have enough security. We don't have someone down at the bottom checking to see who can leave and who can't, and who thinks the Mart parking lot is a racetrack down there. So yeah, it's just been a free-for-all for the most part for the last few years. But that was the intention, was to keep it open, like you said, for sophomores, juniors, and seniors, but closed for freshmen and then the 7th and 8th graders.
Okay, so Mr. Trio, what would be your recommendation as far as adjusting this policy, as far as your lunch hours, and then as far as addressing the security concerns? Is there a security concern from your perspective?
Right now, I would recommend that it remains as such until you deem it appropriate to change. If that's the case, then we would definitely be open to any kind of adjustments that are necessary. For next year, we are looking at common lunch with the new schedule. Regarding security concerns, we are trying to rotate security as best as we're able to make sure that all areas are covered on campus.
So your recommendation that we leave it open for sophomores, juniors, and seniors, just for lunch?
Remain as such until it's modified on your also.
Superintendent, do you have any other suggestions or concerns regarding this policy?
I don't. Just to address the security issue, if you recall, we are down one security guard. He is on leave, but he will be coming back, so then we should be fully staffed. And then we'll be making some adjustments with regards to what I believe will probably be better coverage with the personnel that we have, and be more mobile and more eyes on the campus and the kids. With regards to the policy, if the administration deems that the policy should remain the same, and that was the initial intention, I would recommend to keep it the same. However, going back and adjusting and removing the specific times for lunch for any of these groups.
If we're under a common time, then we can just remove that and add it at the end.
Yeah, so I can bring that back for a first policy reading.
And then our security guard comes back this summer, right?
He comes back now at the beginning of May. Yeah.
Any other questions or, all right? Gentlemen, thank you again.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda under new business is item I, 2627 federal programs budget review. Ms. Garcia.
President Gonzalez, members of the board, I believe, Denise, can you share the snapshot? You should have received a copy of the federal programs allocation snapshot. It was due yesterday. I will go through the numbers quickly. Title I, Part A, we were given $568,893.84. Title II, Part A, $67,375. Title III, $7,762.14. Title IV, $41,149.96. And Title V for the RLIS is $39,006.37. This is about estimate, I'm rounding numbers, about $30,000 less than what we received last year. Of course, this is, correct me if I'm wrong, Superintendent Sandberg, tied to enrollment. So we received that. We did break it down, and we are looking at, and I'm just going to go through briefly through some of the plans for the money that we're going to allocate. We are looking at a district-wide attendance coordinator, interventionists, a student engagement advisors, a librarian, district-wide librarian. Of course, we have our standard family engagement, homeless set-aside, transportation for foster students. We are adding substitute salaries for professional learning, so that is also part of the SEG, but we added a little into the professional development. Of course, professional learning, materials and supplies for professional learning, financial support for teachers and educational assistance for micro-credential, licensure advancement, alternative pathways, OPAL tests. We also have set aside for materials and supplies, support for our TESOL, professional development engagement for our parents in that area. We also have some technology software, nurse assistant salary, stipend, SEL, and supplied materials for arts, the arts and arts, music, physical, and health education. And of course, our LIS is for our teacher retention for stipends in math, reading, TESOL, science, and bilingual endorsement.
Superintendent, excuse me, I'm sorry. Is there anything else you need to add?
I would say with that, I stand for any questions.
Okay. Anything you want to add to that, Madam Superintendent?
The only thing I would say, in addition to this, and we'll talk a little bit more about this on the budget presentation, is that we do have positions, as Ms. Garcia, mentioned, are being paid out of federal funding. With the 80-20 increase in insurances and the reduction of allocation, operational did have to absorb some of the benefits for these, which isn't uncommon, but the more those types of things occur, that'll be something that may have to be more absorbed fully. But I am happy to say that we were able to accommodate 2 positions that would meet district-wide need based off of budget recommendations. And if you've heard Ms. Archuleta, our student representative, mention a few times over the course of the year that students have been asking for a librarian, so we were able to plug that into the federal funding. So this is not an approval, but rather just a view of what it is that how we have funded federal funding.
No, thank you, Ms. Garcia, for your presentation. I would just be curious if the whole list of everything you read off, if I could see that. I was trying to take notes. I'm just trying to understand how these are funded through federal funds as opposed to, the SCG funds and whatnot. Just for curiosity's sake and my own understanding.
If it's allowed, I would be happy to sit with you and kind of go through the paperwork and kind of show you how we wrote things up. Of course, like Superintendent Sandoval said, it's being reviewed by the state right now. So
Well, thank you for that, and I'm not sure if that's part of the budget process, because this is my first budget cycle, and so if that's part of the process, I don't mean to overstep, I just want to gain a better understanding.
Yeah, no, a lot of the positions have been things that were in there before. We've just made some adjustments to include a couple of other, what we thought were needed positions. But the student engagement advisors are utilized at some of the schools to support students, family engagement and outreach. And then interventionists are utilized, of course. We have one at Los Niños, I believe, and a couple at Sierra Vista to support reading and literacy instruction. So those remain the same. And then we do have some administrative costs that go into that as well.
Thank you for that. That does not include funding for social workers, right?
Not this one, no. Or not these ones that we talked about, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So with that, again, this is just information.
Just information. Okay. Thank you again.
Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Next item on our agenda under new business is item J, 2026-2027 budget draft. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, Ms. Gonzalez is going to present to you what we have put together, or what she has put together over many long hours. I am happy to say that I think the outcome of this budget looks fairly good, considering that we did have a loss of enrollment, but we are sitting well, so she will go over the details of this. I may, dependent on what your view is upon the termination of the presentation, would be to perhaps recommend approval of the budget, if you don't have any recommendations for changes or additions and so on. So, but go ahead and take it over, Ms. Gonzalez.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'm happy to be presenting this today. It's been quite the task, and you know, this has been, I've worked on some budgets before, but this has been truly my first, you know, in charge budget, and so very excited about this. And I think we have some good news for you guys. So with that, if we go ahead and screen over. So first off, just some of the requirements by NMPED budget-wise was a 1% average increase to salaries and an 80% contribution to health benefits. You can see here, this is simply just a snapshot of last year's budget compared to this year's budget. I will speak in some further slides more directly about the revenues and expenses, but just to run through this, we plan on utilizing cash of $197,897. Our SEG is $17,476,893. Our interest income is about the same from last year, as well as the indirect costs, insurance recoveries, and refund of prior year expenses. I am considering an E-rate of $65,000. We actually received about $150,000 from the previous, but we're anticipating just a little bit less, so $65,000 there for E-rate. In expenses, our salary and our positions, this is for the operating account again, not the federal funds Ms. Garcia was talking about. So just from operations, our salary and positions are $9,078,464. Our supplemental pay is $681,700. That one is just a bit more because we are budgeting for expenses having to do with substitutes, more than what has been done in the past. So that includes a big number for substitutes, which you'll see the breakdown here in just a bit as well. Our benefits, which would be the most significant part of this budget, did go up to $4,234,181. Sorry, I work with numbers all day and I just spit off numbers, so I have to say the dollar amounts. And we also have non-personnel costs. Last year we were about $4.4 million. This year we are budgeting for 3.8 million, and again, you'll see the breakdown of that, for a total operating budget of 17,851,780. The next slide, one of the biggest changes to this budget was a switch from a 5-day calendar to a 4-day calendar. This includes 156 instructional days and 10 days of professional development days. With the way the formula works for K-12 plus funding, we actually received more money for K-12 plus funding than we did in the previous year. Last year we received $516,264. This year we will receive $797,115 for an increase of $280,851. So that's an increase to SEG. That the change from a 5-day to a 4-day calendar directly impacted. And you can see on the bottom, this is a screenshot directly from the tool that they use that the NMPED gives us. So this bottom snapshot's from the PED, and you can see here how that funding works. So we had, again, regular instruction days with students of 156, professional work days, both K through 12 actually have 10 professional work days, but the way the funding formula works, we're only given funding for 5 days of professional development from 7th through 12th grade. So that's why you see professional work of 10 days and 5 days, which doesn't necessarily match what we have in our current calendar. So then when you see at the bottom tier, and this is where the extra funding came from, we actually have 10 days of tier 1 and 1 day on tier 2 for K through 6. In grade 7 through 12, we have 6 days on tier 1. So at the bottom is exactly how the funding comes out. So we got $729,000 on tier 1, and we got $68,096 on tier 2. And again, our main source of revenue for the operating fund is our SEG, and just to break it down a bit, there was a 3.5% increase in unit value. Our student enrollment did go down from 1,096 to 1,022. And although our enrollment went down with the increase in the unit value as well as the additional K-12 plus funding, we did have a minimal difference in our SEG compared to the 25-26 school year. We will be using cash of $197,897, and the goal would be to use as minimal as possible to balance the budget. That is not all the cash we have available, but that's all we need in order to balance this budget. Next. One of the biggest changes again was the change to the health benefits. There was a 9.95% increase in medical premiums, 4% increase in dental premiums, as well as the 80-20 contribution rate where we have to pay 80% of the premium. We had a $500,000 increase for fiscal year 27 in total benefits due to this. Potentially, this could mean a $3 million increase in benefits if all staff would opt into for medical insurance. And so we won't know that although the 80-20 contribution is in effect now, employees cannot sign up for that plan until open enrollment, and then in October, and once they do open enrollment, the cost will actually, if we get more employees on the plan, won't happen until January. So at that point, we may have to adjust. And then going back to the cash we have available, that's why I'm optimistic that we will have those funds available, because we only have to use $197,000 to go ahead and balance the budget. With this change to the health benefits, Superintendent Sandoval did partner with an agency called EHP, and I'm sorry I forgot what that stands for, but this is an opportunity to decrease the expense for the district, and it actually allows the employee to take home more money.
It would be, you know, it ranged from a few dollars to maybe as much as $100, and it's just a pre-tax benefit that the employees that we actually opted in all of the employees, and we'll be having some webinars so employees can see if this is something they'd like to sign up for and they can opt out. A little bit about the plan, it's not just about getting pre-tax and saving the district or taking home more money for our employees. This is a telehealth company that provides urgent care. You can get prescriptions at a reduced cost, and it's for the employee and their family. The only requirement is that they have a current health coverage, and that doesn't have to be through the district. It could be through other means. There may be some employees there's some other qualifications where there may be some employees who aren't eligible for this plan, but over 80% of our employees, we think this is definitely gonna help them. So we're excited about that to be rolling out. So we have webinars, and you guys are welcome to join the webinars as well. And we can send out the schedule for that.
And if I may add, with this benefit, as Ms. Gonzalez mentioned, actually, we held off a little bit. We have been working with EHP for some time and getting information. If all of our employees remain in the program, it will yield on the district side anywhere between $85,000 to $100,000 of savings back into our budget. On the employee side, again, with their contribution and being in the program, as Ms. Gonzalez mentioned, there are several medical benefits with over 1,000 prescriptions that are free to the employee. And, you know, those can be mailed home and so on. So, you know, Santa Rosa is part of it. West Las Vegas is joining in. So it was vetted through NIPSIA, and we were holding off a little bit because we wanted to, you know, to be quite honest, view the legitimacy and the appropriateness of it. But we are confident that one, it benefits the employee and it benefits the district both.
And I like to call that doing our due diligence about the plan. So, next, a little bit about our non-personnel costs. These are the top expenses in that category. Our NIPSIA risk, of course, is 1.376. Our utilities are $1,086,000. In this budget, you guys are all aware of the lighting project that we have going on. So this actually, we cannot consider the rebate that we should be receiving in the fall. We can't consider that in the budget until we get it. So yeah, until we get it. So that's not in here. But our utilities are about $1 million, just over that. Ancillary services are $286,796. And those ancillary services include a speech therapy, physical therapist, a specialist for the visually impaired. So those are those ancillary services. The social workers, we actually have budgeted on our as staff to hopefully hire them as staff. As well as the psychologist is one that we have in the positions as well. Our professional services are about $250,000, and this is part of the audit services, legal services, some consultant services, as well as like the HVAC one we have with Honeywell is part of that as well. One big change to our professional services is within the business department is that we're hoping to hire payroll and an assistant business manager back in on with the district, as opposed to using K-12 for that. And so we have applicants right now, so we're hoping that those two are filled. Instructional materials, $213,205. We did put in a reserve of $100,000, just an emergency reserve. Rental equipment of $89,000 and maintenance and repair of $84,000. Our supplemental pay. This includes our biggest expense right now is for substitute teachers and staff. So again, we budgeted more than was budgeted in years past, and it was pretty minimal. So we looked at that expense and said we definitely need to have this in budgeted in for supplemental pay. And so that's 290,000. Our coaches and club sponsor stipends are 154,700. That will include, the only change to those stipends would be that we added another high school MESA sponsor, so that gives us 2 at the middle school and 2 at the high school. This past year, we had enough students at both locations, which I believe it's 40 at both, to have 2 sponsors at each level. So we went ahead and budgeted next year for that. This past year, we didn't have that budgeted, so we added that in. We also added in 2 stipends for a Skills USA sponsor, and that's part of the CTE program. I don't know if you want to speak more to that. And also 2 sponsors for HOSA. So we had, for our club sponsors, we added 5 sponsors for our clubs. On our coaching side, all coach stipends will remain the same. The only thing we are planning to add is a middle school baseball team and a middle school softball team. So there's been a lot of interest, and I know there was a survey sent out, and there was a lot of interest, and it was something we wanted to try and do now. It just was the quick turnaround is pretty difficult, but we do see a big interest for that, especially there's a part of the season where our girls have nothing going on. So it's a good chunk of time, and that could be that softball season. So I think that's a great thing to add as well. The additional teacher and staff stipends, that is 41,500, and the only thing added to that is we will add. Let me get that real quick. Sorry, let me go one up. Athletic and activity expense. So this is specifically $60,000 for bus drivers. So this is not the fuel, not gas. This is bus driver pay, and so it's costing about that much on the operational side, as well as on the athletic side. So it's about $120,000 of activity and athletic, and it's split almost evenly between both. So activities, like for clubs, is about $30,000, and for athletics, it's about $30,000 as well. So we have that in the budget, the benefits and taxes on top of that. And then game personnel, we budgeted it at $7,000, and this is for the beginning of the year, and this is for refs and game personnel. And the way it has been done in the past is at the first half of the year, a lot of this is charged. This specifically is charged to the operational account. The second half of the year, as revenue comes in, is charged to the athletics account. The goal eventually would be that hopefully athletics can take on more of that. But that's what it's costing the operational account. So I know there was a brief discussion earlier about all of it, but that's what we have. Actually, in saying that, that does not include extra things. So this is what happens during the seasons. This also includes, new for this is, so that's our athletic and activity expense. The additional teacher and staff stipends. This is for, the only thing new in here, we do have some staff that get stipends for extra certifications. They also get, if they have college courses or other degrees, they get stipends for those amounts. The only thing new that has been added in is a $2,500 stipend for a Title IX coordinator. The other one is 3 head teachers, $2,500 each, one at Los Niños, one at Sierra Vista, and one at Memorial Middle School. The one at Los Niños is if our pre-K application does not go through, but the plans are if the pre-K, if we do have a pre-K, that the director would be part director, part head teacher, or what do you call on the other side? You can speak to that.
Like a student engagement advisor. So we're hoping that if we do receive the preschool pre-K funding, that would cover the directorship and support for Los Niños, kind of as a quasi-administrator, if you will, for that program.
The additional teacher stipend also includes our combo class stipends or anything as per our CBA. We also have our prep buyout and our lunch duty is $34,000 for that. And then overtime, I would like to speak to this just a bit, but Ms. Superintendent Sandoval did have a stop to overtime. And so I will say this year, so we are, I think that's even a little high, but we were about, I think it was 35 to 40 grand in overtime. This year, we're, as of March 31st, we're about $6,700. And so I think I budgeted 10,000, but, and I'm estimating to end the year about 8,000. And that overtime does consist of our EAs who may work lunch duty and also after school program. We have some employees who work, they work, you know, during, they're non-exempt and they also do gate personnel, little things like that. So this is pretty, it's a huge change, you know, and for the district and just putting that in place has, you know, even just a little bit. They say, you know, to count your staples, and this is a staple because of the more they all add up. And so this is one of those staples that truly does matter.
If I may talk to this slide real quickly, we're hoping that the first row substitute teachers and the prep and buyout, that we don't utilize all of that money, particularly because we're going to that 4-day school week. So we anticipate that the use of subs decreases significantly, at least that, you know, that is the intention. And then having 1 day less on the books, if you will reduce at least 1 day of the lunch duty stipend, if you will. So, you know, we've budgeted for what the use has been, but we anticipate that there will be a reduction of costs.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
What had been the previous overtime cost?
As I mentioned, the previous, so I just 1 year back, it was about between 35, 40,000 was the overtime.
Okay, thank you.
And again, this year, as of March 31st, it was about $6,700. Okay, some of our major federal and state funds, we have a whole lot of grants, but our big federal and state funds, Title I, as Ms. Garcia mentioned, is $566,894. As she mentioned, that is a decrease, so the benefits we actually have to take on, the benefits for those employees funded by that fund are taken on by the operational account just because we had a decrease in that funding, and so we didn't want to take away necessarily from the programming either, so we took the benefits into the operational account. Title II, as she mentioned, was $67,276. Idea B, $338,621. That was lower as well. Medicaid, these are estimates. This is what we got last. This is what we got last year. We haven't been given our allocation for fiscal year 27, but we anticipate it will be less. And for transportation, they are those staff members, everybody across the board got a 1% increase. The transportation department, our goal would be to make them whole. I'm not sure that we can do the 1% increase because of they will be working less hours. And so as opposed to 16 hours a week right now, or sorry, 20 hours a week right now, they'll be working 16. All other staff members will be working the same amount of hours. And so if we can sustain that 1%, we'll have to look and see if we can do the 1%. If not, we want to at least give them their same pay.
Question. So transportation, will they take a hit because of the 40? I mean, as far as
it is because it's one less day. Yeah. So
Mr. Chair, what we are attempting to do is try to keep them as whole as possible. We do have one driver that is retiring, so we will not be refilling that position and rerouting, if you will. So what we are going to be doing is meeting with Miss Ida Sue and see if, you know, by absorbing that we can retain some of those dollars to keep the drivers as whole as possible. So that the intention is not to lose.
Do you know what the difference in the transportation budget was?
Not yet, and they haven't given us our allocation. They haven't given us that allocation, but they'll be less this, the same way the other ones were.
And if I'm not mistaken, I may be wrong, because our budgets run a year behind, if you will, I believe that we will still get the funding for the 5-day this coming school year, but we will see the reduction 27, 28? Yeah. I think, but we'll confirm.
Yeah, and it's actually tied directly to our calendar. So the transportation will see the calendar on the 4-day, but there are factors such as even the student enrollment from the previous year that will play into this year. So if we get that amount, that's great. But we're anticipating, I'm anticipating getting less. If we don't, then that's a good problem to have.
So it's probably the same for student nutrition as well.
Same thing for student nutrition.
With student nutrition, what we are planning on doing, and Ms. Senna has already spoken to her staff, with the Friday program with Healthy Kids, we are planning on still running the program on Friday. However, not all staff have indicated that they would want to work, so we will have at least a handful of employees that will continue to work on Fridays and still see the revenue for those kids that are coming in. So, but again, you're right, there will be a reduction of some time. However, also with the extension of the day and the need for the scratch cooking, I have been working with Ms. Senna on, like even breakfast is having, breakfast sandwiches and warmer meals and that type of thing. So she is looking at making adjustments to the menu. So that may be maybe a little earlier of a start. And then with the extension of the day, we will be applying for funding to provide snack for K-12, which will also require a little bit more time for our employees to provide that snack mid-afternoon, if you will. So.
Okay. And then you guys know this isn't with our operational, but to our capital outlay, our SB9, and our bond money. This is where we're sitting at with capital outlay at $535,000, SB9 at $1.5 million, bonds at 7.5, which doesn't include the ones that recently passed until those are sold. The ed tech that was passed and received at 1.1 million. So some of the requests that we got from our budget input meetings, which mainly the biggest response overwhelmingly was probably was the survey, but was the need for classroom supplies, the areas of repair and maintenance were also big. Technology was in there as well, and so a lot of the needs were needs that were covered by these funds, and so we think we have pretty much everything covered as what was requested, and we were fiscally able to do. So. Okay, with that, if you have any questions?
Can you go back to the very first slide? The second one, I guess. Right there. Can you talk a little bit about the cash? This is the one I'm excited about.
I sure can. Okay, so as you see there, I put on there cash. It's not our total unrestricted cash. Last year we did have 500. The estimate was 542,000. I don't know if you recall, but we did pass a bar where our cash landed, $200,000 more. So that was exciting news. Fiscal year 27, the 197,897 is again just cash that we have to use to balance the budget. We are looking now anywhere from 1.5 to 2 million in a cash in our cash balance. And so savings that have been made throughout last year, different, decisions that had to be made and changes in positions and, decisions that ultimately Superintendent Sandoval made were paying off. We should see that cash balance, we have cash balance. And so that is something even in the finance committees and here that we will start reporting on because we will have that available. And again, ultimately the goal is to be at 5%, right, to have that cash reserve. With the budget, we still, with some of the other funds that are coming in, we need to see what we will need in the operational account as part of that cash to go ahead and, of course, cover that. We also, from this year, we had benefits that went up that we have to cover as well for some other funds. And so, but with that, we have a healthy cash balance going into fiscal year 27 that we're excited about. So.
It is exciting.
I have a couple of questions, if I may. Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez, for your presentation. Since you shared the cash balance, is that what is projected for fiscal year 27, or that's what we'll start fiscal year 27 with?
We'll start fiscal year 27 with that cash balance.
Thank you for that. And then, real quick, off the top of your head, can you tell me what the amount for the 5% reserve is?
So it's going to be the 5% of our operational
17 million.
17 million. What's by? Oh my goodness, my kids are going to be so.
You're good. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding that correctly. And then the last question that I'll have, I think, don't hold me to that though, but the 84,000 for maintenance and repair, and then I see there's of course under SB9 the 1.5 million maintenance and repair is listed as there as well. Between you and Ms. Sandoval, do you feel that that is a sufficient amount of money to maintain and repair? And granted, I know something can happen, something can break, knock on wood, that doesn't happen, right? But do you feel that that's an adequate amount of funding and looking historically what the maintenance and repair budget has been?
Based on what was used last year and increasing that by about 10%, now the difference with what we can use the SB9 funds for as opposed to the operational, that is, in the operational we're getting a lot of supplies. So a lot of that maintenance and repairs is a whole lot of supplies for, whatever, paint, stuff that does not qualify under our SB9 funds. Our SB9 funds, if you can go back there, our SB9 funds, and that covers a lot, as well. If that is something that, if we want to, budget more for outside of what we can do with SB9, considering that I know there are some needs in the district of repairs and different things that need to be done. I'm open to that, as well. So,
one of the things that I have been trying to do with regards to SB9 and GEO bonds is to really strike up that balance of what's long-term improvements and need versus kind of just general maintenance and minor repair. So those are the things that we're working on. I do believe, just based off of like some of the stuff that we've been working on, I think that the dollar amount that has been set aside would be sufficient. And then, we do have, again, like the matching funds that come in and so on. So I think we're in a good place with regards to that. And then with all of the major repairs, the elevators, everything that's coming, that we're kind of repairing, the extra money that we have I can't recall if you and Ms. Gonzalez were on board at the time, but we do have, I believe, close to $500,000 sitting in NIPSIA with regards to emergency funding because of the roofs that we can tap into. And then we have
but we can't budget the revenue for that.
Right. And then we have the $115,000 that we recently received from House Bill 550, I don't remember the number exactly. So that one has been set aside for like restroom repairs, the stalls, the toilets, the sinks, and all of that kind of stuff. So I think we have ample coverage and dollars in different pots that we can bring together.
Okay. And then this, of course, does not account for any savings on utilities that we would see or rebates or anything. So we can anticipate, fingers crossed, that by the time we close out fiscal year 27, we'll be in a very strong financial state.
Position, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? If not, I'd like to just thank you for, again, I know you're not just out during budget season, you're working extremely hard, but throughout this entire year, I know you're very busy and you do quite a bit. So just again, thank you for your dedication to this district as well. So thanks for all your hard work. Madam Superintendent, would you like to add anything or?
Again, I just would like to thank Ms. Gonzalez. It's been a team effort that she's been sitting behind that computer and playing with numbers back and forth. So, you know, Ms. Garcia, Ms. Gonzalez, it's pulling our hair out sometimes. But I think that the work that everyone has done across the district and the decisions that we have made have definitely yielded some positives from going from emergency funding to the balance that we can comfortably sit with. So I don't know, to be quite honest with you. I mentioned a little earlier that, you know, if possible, we would be able to make an approval of the budget, but as it's written with budget draft, I don't know if that would be allowable. So if it cannot be approved and you don't have any recommendations for changes, then one of the things I will ask is that if we can maybe have a special meeting, maybe virtually, that way we could get the budget approved and then Ms. Gonzalez can start entering it into OBMS maybe next week sometime.
And that specifically, the budget is due May 13th, which is before our next board meeting.
And if I can add this, I know that we're in a position where our strategic plan is not fully finalized, but close. And in the future, I would like to see, you know, how our budget is tied to our strategic plan and our goals. Of course, and how we're doing that monitoring. Not for right now or for this purpose, but in the future, I think that I just want to make mention of that. If we can, even after we get, you know, the approval and all of those next steps, that even if it's just a draft, so we begin to start understanding how the expenses are tied to student outcomes.
One of the things, you know, I'm saying, and adding to that is one of the things that we work with and drive is that programs should drive the budget, right? Not the other way around. And a lot of what we have done and the decisions that we're making on the federal side are based off of what we're seeing as the needs. And fortunately, the strategic plan is coinciding with the work that we're already doing, and it's not like taking us in a whole different direction. So which is really good to see. But I think it can easily be done once everything kind of comes to fruition.
Other questions? Being that this is listed as a discussion/action item, if the board is not requesting any changes, I think it would be okay for us to make a motion to approve the budget.
But it's listed as budget draft.
Okay, so
we have to have the special.
we'll have to have a special meeting. Is there just, like I said, virtually work best for everyone, or would you want to just meet here for a few moments? What would work best for you then, Mr. Reynolds? Just would be your recommendation, just a virtual or even in-person meeting?
I mean, it's up to everyone. We can do it in person, a quick one, should only take 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
In person will work for you?
If we post tomorrow, next Tuesday, maybe? Tuesday, Wednesday? Or Tuesday work for everyone?
It's very brief.
It would be very brief, unless there's anything else that you guys would like to add, but.
Tuesday work for you, Dr. Moser? Gonzalez, Tuesday work?
What's the actual date?
The 21st.
Sorry. No, my husband has a procedure in Albuquerque, and that he's can I call him?
You could do a virtual, could you call him?
If I can call him at that time.
That'd be okay.
As long as you're here for the whole meeting, you can call him.
Tuesday work for you, Mr. Romero?
Yeah, at 5:15.
So,
Tuesday, 5:15.
if that works for you.
Okay, then those two.
Clarification, in person or virtual?
In person, preferably.
In person, if you can, if not, like Ms. Gonzalez, you can join virtually. But we'll have the link anyway, so.
So we'll do a special meeting on Tuesday, May 21st, 5:15. Very brief special meeting.
April 21st.
April, I'm sorry. We're putting something. Okay. Again, thank you again for all your work. Next item on our agenda tonight is new business. Item K, policy review, G through L. A few of the policies I had questions about. Madam Superintendent already brought up as far as specificity, on times for lunch hour. I didn't have any other questions or concerns on any of those policies. Did anybody else have any policies, G through L, that you wanted to get addressed? Especially, again, we're going to meet what it may have, some of them we have to do first reading in May, some second. So I know Ms. Sandoval has a list of the policies we've already brought to her attention that we want to update as far as, I know myself personally, public input, a few of these others, but as far as G through L, does anybody have any concerns or comments?
I just have a few, Mr. President, and just for clarification or confirmation, for example, G 1800, which is staff grievances, and of course this would apply to other policies as well. Just put confirmation that they do not conflict with the collective bargaining agreement, if there is specificity in the CBA that outlines grievances and all that, just ensuring that there's not contradictory language.
There is not, and the language between both, so if there's a grievance filed, they can file a grievance based off of articles or off of policy, so it all depends on the situation and how they bring forth those grievances.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. And then G215, that might not be the right number as I'm looking at it, but the language is that the board will annually establish salaries and benefits for all employees. I don't know if that happens. Of course, it's coordinated with licensure framework from the state, or is that a policy that needs to be revised?
That would probably need to be revised because it's you all approve overall budget. I set the salary.
Okay. The salary schedule. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
I have a few. On G0982, and this one was on drug-free workplace. Maybe it does say that because we are federally funded, or because of federal funding, it's a requirement that we provide the information to the staff on local community drug and alcohol counseling, rehabilitation, and information like that. It's asking us to provide it every 2 years, but if we could maybe just make sure that we are providing the information to the staff, because I believe that sometimes they are stressed and these are things that they need to be aware of. Like I said, on here, I believe it says that the district should perform the review of the programs, but it's saying every 2 years. So if we could maybe just make sure that that is something that we are.
Can you tell me that policy number again,
please? G0982. Because I believe that we do have staff that may require or they need the information.
Do you want to keep that every 2 years or do you want to do it yearly?
If we could do that yearly, if we could change it from every 2 years to every year, that would obviously be something that we should provide to our staff.
I'll take a look at it and then we can.
And then the other one was G1431, handling bodily fluids. I know that we do usually do bloodborne pathogens, that kind of thing, but I think that we need to maybe, I guess review that again with staff or maybe with coaches and that kind of thing, because, say for instance, at one of the basketball games, I know a kid got hit, was bleeding, there was blood all over the floor. Coaches were running, trying to figure out how to clean it up. They went out there with no gloves on, in front of everyone, no gloves on, people were running around. They cleaned up the floor with napkins, but you're actually, if you read the policy, you're supposed to clean it up with bleach, water, and then, have gloves or something. So maybe we just need to make sure that we have a kit at each event or something, so that it's easily accessible for everyone, so that we're not violating that. And of course, we want everyone to be safe. But that was just one of the things that I observed, and then it is part of the policy. So, and then as far as like maybe some type of bleach, something to clean up the floors and clean up the hands and that kind of stuff. And then G1900, posting of materials regarding Whistleblower Protection Act. I'm not sure that I've seen that posted anywhere, but it does say that we are supposed to have those materials posted for staff and throughout our buildings. And that's all I have. Thank you.
That's all. Mr. Armando, do you have anything?
I know we used to have those kits during COVID, and then we continue to use them. I don't know what happened to them.
I'll check with Mr. Escamilla and see if there's any going there.
I just want to thank our board for taking the time. I know it's quite a few policies to go through. A thorough review is not just encouraged, but it's required. So thank you for taking the time to go through all these policies. Again, it's something we should do not just once a year, but make sure that we're familiar with these. And if there's stuff that comes up throughout the year, let's bring it to the attention of our superintendent so it can be addressed. So again, thank you for your time for making such a thorough review of these policies. Next item would be our student report, and we have no student report. She will do that. Okay, so no student report. Next item on our agenda is our superintendent report.
Mr. Chair, members, a few highlights on mine. Vision and planning, I did speak with Colleen and with Mr. John Archuleta from KSFA. They were rather quick, and they've already approved the facility master plan before it coming to you, which is okay. But I did speak with Colleen. She will be here in May and present the facilities master plan. But and you guys did have a copy of that. I did email that to you, so you have seen that. But she will do a formal presentation. The central office elevator is fully functional. It does work. We do have the fire suppression and management piece. So that's great news. It has a little glitch, so they are still doing a little bit of maintenance to it, but it finally works after, I think, over a year that we've had it out of commission. We did receive the funding from the PSCOC for the $150,000 to pay off the outstanding balance for the Summit Fire Panel. So Ms. Gonzalez is working on that. Once those are, we actually received the invoices this week. So once we pay those off, we will begin to work with Summit and PSFA to commence the scheduling and the continuation of the fire suppression system at Robertson and at Memorial Middle School. So hopefully that will be operational and functional before next school year, because right now we are still on fire watch. And that has, in essence, removed maintenance person from the cycle and the duties that they need to perform. Energy X, we did meet with them a couple of days ago. They are ready to begin install within the next week and a half. So we met with their contractors. They have received all of their badging keys into the facility, so they will begin to ship their equipment and their supplies and get those stored, so that will be started soon. We also met with Brady, who has presented a few times, and we met with J3 Systems, who does the roofing, just to review the schematic design and the work for the solar panels that will be placed in each of the buildings. So they are working jointly to ensure that everything is to compliance and to standard. We are working with Luna and with Highlands. We have met already with both institutions for dual credit courses. So in addition to the adjustment to the high school and middle school schedule to block scheduling, we have gotten a little bit more commitment from Luna, but we're looking at having like a Luna block in where their professors will come in to Robertson and do some dual credit courses. That will be, the goal is to get away more from the asynchronous and synchronous instruction and more of the in-person instruction at the school. So we are working with scheduling right now with them and have already met with Luna to provide perhaps a track, and if not, to be able to provide on that Friday for our sophomores, juniors, and seniors some in-seat dual credit seat time through both institutions. So that is the plan that we're working with, so to give our secondary students something that they can do on those Fridays as well, in addition to the internships that we already have in place, so part of that work-based learning approach. What you will see in number 9 are vacancies that we have posted for next school year. These are based off of either retirements that we have already been receiving and or movements that we have made. So the budget that Ms. Gonzalez presented a few minutes ago fits and ties all of these positions in, so it's not, in addition to. We have added a 1.5 position, if you will, for special education to meet the compliance and the needs that we had. So again, like dual credit, what I'm trying to do is get away from virtual instruction in special education. So we have those positions posted as employee positions versus contractors. And then we
Mr. President, sorry, what about ancillary? Are we going to try and move away from some of those?
Yes.
Also?
Yep.
Okay.
So like right now, for example, the psychologist is also virtual, so we are looking with the moves that we have within the special education department with Ms. Martinez, is to bring in a full-time psychologist that will support in the diagnostic support and the direct services that we're already contracting for anyway. So, and we do already have an applicant for that, so we're confident that we can fill that position, which has been a struggle. Social worker, that one has been one that we have had in the books, but have not had, we had success for maybe half a year and have that vacancy. We are doing some realignment, so we will have a school counselor position vacant. If we don't find a school counselor, what we will do is move or keep the structure that we have right now as a school engagement coordinator. A career supervisor, which is still meeting the requirements of the counseling, but it allows for a different type of licensure. So the goal is a counselor, but if not, we'll switch it over if we don't get any hits for that.
Where is that position? At what school?
That will be at the middle school. We have, because of some retirees and what we have done as the district has done in the past with facilities, we are right-sizing to the enrollment and to the needs that we have. So what we've done with some of these positions is either absorb some of them and realign them to meet the membership and the enrollment. But what we have done with some of these positions that we are losing more so through attrition is reclassifying them. So I have reclassified one of the positions of a retiree into a culinary arts position, so it wasn't an additional cost, but it fits in the budget as it is. Math interventionist is a new position for us. We are looking at having this position placed at Sierra Vista to support the dire math achievement scores that we have, so hopefully catching them at that level and then moving them on to the middle school, high school. And then very lastly, Ms. Garcia and I were fortunate to be able to sit in and support Ms. Alba Gold. There's a picture on the report. Ms. Alba Gold received the Educational Assistant of the Year Award at the ABE conference last Friday, so we will formally recognize her. She is retiring this year. So we will formally acknowledge her in the next board meeting along with all the other retirees. But you know, it was really great to see. She gave an amazing acceptance speech in Spanish, so it's sad to see her go, but a very timely acknowledgement for her at that time. Other than that, I do stand for any questions on my report.
So just one question that we haven't seen. Capital Outlay, we did get rewarded funds for an activity bus, is that correct?
Oh, yes, I apologize. Yes, but this legislative session, we were awarded $255,000 for a new activity bus. So that will be probably not until June or probably the fall, because we'll get the monies in July. And then, once we get all the approvals and so on, but Ms. Ida Sue does have already the quote and the information that she needs for the new purchases. It'll just not be probably till mid-year next year, if at that. So I do want to thank and acknowledge Senator Campos and Representative Gonzalez for allocating those funds to the district.
Mr. President, Madam Superintendent, do we have any feedback on the EcoBus that we have?
That one was just a pilot program, so we did have that for 6 weeks. That ended, I think, probably maybe mid-November or so. So that's already been shipped off to another district. If they do pilot, I think it's, and I'm gonna maybe misidentify the buses, but there's classes of buses, which would be the larger buses. They're looking at doing that next year, is my understanding. So when and if we do put in, in the rotation for new buses, that could be a consideration for clean energy or a green bus. But that was just a short time that we had it.
What was the feedback on it in our area?
The bus drivers really liked it. It was quiet. It was obviously energy efficient. What we did know was that in Sapeo, with the electricity and the brownouts and wasn't necessarily the best place to have the chargers and that type of thing. So we did have some issues with that, but it did yield cost savings. The ride was smooth, so that there were no complaints about it. But again, we'll see how we can maximize that in the future, especially if our fuel prices are the way they are.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Owen.
Madam Superintendent, I think last meeting I asked about a report from Singleton and Schreiber. Have you not heard from them?
Yes, I have spoken with Mr. Castellano, so I'm hoping to have an executive session with them in May.
Okay. And then also capital outlay. Are we going to start having capital outlay meetings?
Yes, once we get all of these dollars situated and everything, I'm going to put the committee back together. And then we'll get the monthly reports for the project updates.
So in order for us would we have to restand capital outlay committee with board members? Because I know so we'd have to vote to stand up that committee as far as the board saying.
Yes, I believe, I guess when I first came in and we had it functional, Mr. Quintana was the one that was sitting in on that committee.
Gotcha. Okay, so that will be just something we'll do as a board, so that we could see who else is interested in that committee and we'll vote on that.
Especially being, now that we're going to begin all of these major projects, once again, I think that's where that capital outlay piece is relevant.
Perfect. Okay, any other questions on superintendent report? Okay, hearing none. Next item on our agenda is future planning. First item on future planning is regular board meeting May 21st. If that's still okay with everybody, we'll go ahead and keep that there. Is there any conflicts?
I don't have any conflicts, but I do have a request. If we can, if it's possible for us to have the materials at least the Friday before the meeting, it's just would be helpful for me to be better prepared in advance, just to have additional time to review the materials.
What materials are you asking, like the finance committee?
Well, no, just all the, board materials, the board packet, and I understand and recognize that we have monthly meetings and we can't do a lot during that time, but as much information that can be provided in advance would be helpful, because I think there was some materials, for example, that we reviewed or that were discussed and shared today that were uploaded this morning. I'm working all day, I can't, I want to just be better prepared. So as many of the materials and attachments leaked that are able to be provided in advance would be appreciated.
We'll do our best to do so for that Friday, but, if nothing else, we will ensure that we have the 72-hour, for sure, with the agenda, the attachments within that time frame.
Next item on future planning is the NMSBA School Law Conference, June 4th through 9th.
It's the 6th.
I believe it's June. Yeah,
It's the 6th.
Yeah, 4th through 9th. It's just the 6th to 8th, right?
6 to 8.
4th through 6th.
Yeah, it's 4th through 6th.
4th through 6th.
4th through 6th. Mr. Romero, do you plan on attending the conference? Ms. Gonzalez, do you plan on attending the conference?
Yes.
Dr. Meserve?
Yes.
Dr. Brea?
Yes.
And I will also be planning on attending that. Okay. Now, just before we adjourn, just a few things I'd just like to house cleaning. If we could just make sure, as far as Robert's rules, refresh ourselves, because again, it's kind of throwing me off whenever we're having discussion before a motion. Robert's rules does say we're supposed to have a motion, a second, then discussion. We can always vote down that motion and remake a motion. So let's please, for the sake of keeping our meetings organized, let's please follow that. And then just one other thing, as far as anytime we request or we give Ms. Sandoval a directive, it needs to come from the board. So if you do have a request as far as special extra reports from our business office, that's something that you can request during whenever we're preparing the agenda, and then we would have to vote on something like that as a board. Because just as a reminder, individually, we can't give any directives to our superintendent. So if that's, that being said, I will go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr.
So
Romero.
then with what Mrs. Blair asked for, she can't ask for that? About having it sooner than?
No, I think a request like that, but if we're asking for a specific report or more detailed reports, or when it comes to actual work that Ms. Sandoval is going to have to do, I think that's more of a directive. Right? So if we're asking for specific material, I think that needs to be approved by the board.
What policy is that? Is that policy?
As far as
For that, it has to be approved by the board.
as far as the board giving directives to the superintendent?
About giving a directive, and you said it has to be approved by the board, is that policy?
It is.
Okay, that's what I'm asking, what policy?
But it is, as far as any, again, we individually are not the superintendent's class, we as a board collectively are. So if we're gonna give her a directive, again, asking for specific work for her to be done, that needs to be approved by the board.
Outside of the board meeting.
Outside of the board meeting, yes. All right.
So then, we're not gonna be asked to see if we want particular items on the agenda any longer, or do we have to just do that as attached to you, or
You
email?
guys can do that as a text. Mr. Gonzalez and I were looking at it, and I don't remember what the dates were. It was.
So the policy is like 5 days, yeah, it's like 5 days before the final review. So say for Thursday meeting, last Monday would have been the deadline, according to policy, for us to make any specific request. So just review that policy, make sure that you're aware of the timeline, and that way, I would maybe suggest you email both myself, because it does, again, according to policy, it's the board president and the superintendent that approves any agenda items. So if you do have something that you'd like to add to the agenda, I would ask that we possibly email both of us so that we're both aware of those requests.
It should just be courtesy that the super or the president would send out a text or an email asking for the, on a particular item on the agenda.
And what we can, either Miss Denise or myself can send that reminder out maybe that Monday or whatever that
That way
deadline
you know
is.
what that date is,
Yeah.
that date, that 5 days.
Or prior to that date, that way it's posted within.
That way we make sure that we do all have the opportunity to make an agenda request, so.
Before we adjourn, can I just call attention to these
Of
two
course.
things? You guys had a couple of little pamphlets. Our staff has been working really hard on trying to better market and highlight activities that we have. So if you get a moment, kind of just take a look at these. I want to acknowledge Miss Kayla, I'm forgetting her last name now, why am I forgetting her last name? Kayla Vega, who is our public information officer. I've heard a lot of great things on the Facebook. I don't have one, or I don't know if it's the Facebook, but on Facebook. But anyway, age myself. But anyway, if you guys can kind of take a look at these things and just know that, we are trying to work hard on making Las Vegas City Schools a highlight. So,
Mr. President, Madam Superintendent, do you have any idea in reference to graduation, are they going to require us to wear our robes, or are they wanting, I mean, what specific attire you want them to work to?
Last year, the board voted to wear robes, and then the last minute they said no.
I
Then
can
we
check
voted
with,
to do that. So.
yeah, I can check with Mr. Trujillo. He hasn't mentioned anything. I know that was the desire of the board, and I don't know if Ms. Pena is the sponsor or not, but I don't know if there's a requirement.
He said no, like you did last year, you dress up.
Just a,
Why is that his decision, not the board's? Because we made the decision last year, like I said, then all of a sudden, we get an email saying, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Who decided that?
In my personal opinion, if the board is calling names for graduates, I feel like it's more appropriate to have the board in graduation regalia to appear as graduates ourselves, calling graduation. That's my personal opinion. Instead of business attire, or as professionals.
I guess you have to talk to him. He just told me today that it was going to be the same as last year, because I asked too if we're going to be wearing robes or not, just to get ready for it. He said it was going to be the same as last year, so.
But again, I think that it's a board decision, not the principal decision.
so would you prefer to wear the robes, Mr. Romero?
Yeah, I think so. Even last year, I think, even when we're just handing out diplomas, like the reserve said, it just seems more appropriate.
Okay, that's the desire of the board. I don't think we have to vote on it. I think it's just an agreement. So, Dr. Reserve, obviously, in agreement, Dr. Glea. Okay. Just so. Okay. All right.
You guys want robes?
We want those.
Not the staff, right?
No,
No, just.
You're just for yourselves? Okay. I just
So,
want to
do you
understand.
have yours still? You have yours still?
Well,
So, a few of us will be
still
lost.
wear theirs also.
I think that they're going to change it this year
Okay.
because the robes are like, no. And missing.
So we'll check with Mr. to make sure he has robes available for a few of us, for
I
a
mean,
few
the
of
school
us.
had those extra ones, the councils always had those extra black ones for anyone who didn't have one.
Yeah, no, they have the robes
Okay.
there for the teachers, but a lot of them are torn or stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Well,
There's
yes,
just
was
a
given
big
my
right.
robes. How about that?
but yeah, but I think that like I know like for myself, I have my doctorate.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that a lot of us that, are advanced degrees and stuff, we have our personal robes.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that that's why we would prefer to wear ours.
No. Usually that's what happens with people that have their own, even teachers that have their own, but they also have some that don't have the robes.
Well, I mean, I have a couple extras. I mean, if something
There we go. All right. That being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Romero, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Leah. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion passes, meeting adjourned. It is now